There we go. Music.
There we go.
Well, welcome everyone. This is a special edition of the Daily Wolves Courtside podcast. This is going to be a new kind of offshoot podcast that I'll be hosting with Evan, having different local media people on, focused around the Minnesota Lynx. We are really going to try and do what we did with the courtside side of it for the Wolves and provide like post-game content, interviews with different players. For the people that decide to listen to the first podcast of this, we're actually going to have Sloan Martin on in a week or so. She's going to be the new radio play-by-play host of the Minnesota Lynx. But really, we just want to bring more Lynx content out to the forefront. So thanks, anyone who's joining already. I'm the host, Andrew A. Duke MN. I write for Zone Coverage on the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Minnesota Lynx. And today I'm joined by the OG, the Daily Wolves owner, creator, founder, the guy that did all of the work to get it to where it is today. Evan, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going good, man. It's a blast. Obviously, the Timberwolves are having success right now, which is a ton of fun for the state of Minnesota. And the Lynx have been obviously rolling for many years, and so it's going to be fun to see what the Lynx hold. And excited to dive into content of the WNBA this season, kind of bring fans something that maybe they haven't seen before in a different aspect out there. We also got somebody else on. How you doing, Terry? You're here as well.
I'm here too. What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Very, very excited to be here. Just unwinding after a long but very efficient Lynx Media Day. My third on the beat, second one with Andrew. So just I imagine I'll be popping through on this feed and this show several times this season. So just I'm all in on Wolves playoffs right now too. But there's no basketball, so I'm ready for Lynx season to start and get this revenge tour off on the right foot.
And Terry, that's Terry Horstman. He works for the Next online magazine. Online magazine? Is that what we're calling it?
We can call it an online magazine. I guess.
Online magazine?
Yeah,
that sounds more official.
Yeah,
then it's like ESPN, the magazine.
Yeah, but better. And
yes.
better. The nexthoops.com is where you can find my Lynx coverage. And I'm at Terry Horstman on most of the socials. I'm still on Twitter, not super active, but I'll be there. It's like, I was trying to think of how, like, if you send me or like a DM or a mention on Twitter, it's like my new voicemail. It's like, I'll get it in 2 weeks and then I might respond to it. So it hasn't fallen to the lower tier of the hierarchy, like a LinkedIn direct message, which I will just never answer. I don't even know why that feature's still there.
Exactly.
But I will get to it at some point. But I'm on Blue Sky. I'm at Terrence Horstman on Instagram. So it's a little you got to figure out Terrence because
government name for Instagram.
My government name's Terry. Actually, this is not what the fans are here for. But a different, lesser Terry Horstman got to Instagram before I did, back whenever Instagram started.
Yeah.
So, Terrence Horstman is where I'm a little more formal. The behavior is maybe a little more professional. And then it's, Terry Horstman everywhere else.
I like how you give yourself alter egos.
Exactly. Well, you have to with social media, whatever. But cool that you're having Sloan on. Independently of that, I'm having Sloan on my show, Lynx Happy Hour, this Thursday. So,
man, Sloan is doing the rounds. I mean, there's only like 3 rounds to do, but she is doing the rounds.
Right. Yeah. Officially the radio play-by-play announcer for this season of Lynx basketball. If you haven't heard it yet, that was the big news that came out of today. We've got other stuff to unpack as well, but people were asking about what the deal with radio is. All of the games will be on KFan and iHeart, and Sloan Martin, the great Sloan Martin, will be on the ones and twos. Bringing those games to life through your car and Bluetooth speakers.
Some say she's the female Alan Horton. I can't confirm or deny. I just know some say that.
I think Alan Horton's the male Sloan Martin. I think that one of them got there first. But yeah, we're very lucky and spoiled with the amount of broadcasting talent in the great state of Minnesota. So very happy they made that news official. And yeah, Sloan will do a tremendous job. And I'm excited to hear her on both of our podcasts.
Yes.
Same.
That's how we
Terry, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Here,
Terry,
boys.
let's get into it though. You mentioned it. We had media day today. They did it a little bit different than they have in years past. They didn't do all the player pictures and all of that juggling. They just had player after player walk up to the podium and answer questions from me and Terry and a couple other people. Let's just jump right into it. What was your biggest takeaway from media day? What are you most excited for, let's say?
Well, my biggest takeaway, this is the media nerd part of me, is that was one of the most efficient media days I've ever seen conducted. And I've worked on the PR side for many years for a handful of organizations. And that was seamless. It was efficient. And we got the assistant coaches too. That is big. That's not my colleagues at the Next. When I was sharing some of the sound bites with my great team over there, people were like, "Whoa, they gave you the assistant coaches too." So the Lynx PR team is really doing a great job. And I don't know if any of us asked for assistant coaches. I think they just did it. So, one, fantastic media day. Two, you can tell, and I told everyone I'm going to ask about the way last year ended and how that will be used as fuel for a positive way this year one time, and then I'll never ask it again. And you could tell all of them were ready to talk about it. We've had some media availability for the last few days before, media day officially. So some of this is a little redundant, but it's kind of the team's opportunity to get out ahead of things. So they were ready to do that and kind of just put those thoughts into words, and we didn't get anything, super dynamic other than, getting back even to the semifinals will be hard, but there isn't a staff in sports better equipped for this kind of challenge. Of course, Cheryl Reeve was the coach of the 2017 Lynx, who did exactly what is facing these Lynx when they lost the finals on some BS the previous year, also in 5 games. And two of the players on that team, Rebecca Brunson and Lindsay Whalen, are on staff here. And then also Eric Thibault won WNBA championship with the Mystics in 2019, a year after the Mystics got to the finals and lost it. So this may be new for some of the players, but the coaching staff has been through this before, and they know what's at hand. And I know we're going to talk about Natisha Heidemann because Andrew's here, and we're going to talk about that means we're going to talk about Natisha Heidemann and Courtney Williams.
She's my buddy.
Other players too, but T's the best, and she's the only one that actually used the words revenge to her. But I'm glad that anyone did, because I thought that was just going to be kind of a media thing. And T said it's definitely a revenge to her, and she said that after she previously had hit Bridget Carlton with some hard-hitting questions from the media seats. So T is a very versatile presence. But yeah, I think just that presence of last year kind of being addressed and talked about so that we can move forward. And it's obviously going to be looming large, and it'll be the elephant in the room. But the fact, I'm glad we did it. We got usable quotes. Like, we didn't get nothing. Like people saying like, oh, like bulletin board material, blah, blah, blah. We can't even, like, it's not like we can't think about it. They're like, no, we're thinking about it, and we're mad about it still. Probably always going to be mad about it.
The quote I loved from her was, she said that after they lost the final, she was like legitimately sick for weeks. Like 3 weeks, felt sick to her stomach. I think she called it real life depression, which I just love T so much. Like, she's my favorite person.
Let's go. I can see that.
I think my biggest takeaway was just Cheryl Reeve seemed like happy, which Cheryl's probably going to listen to this because I've been informed she listens and reads everything. So Cheryl, if you are, I apologize. I'm not saying you were cranky or anything last season, but Cheryl just legitimately seemed like she was in a place where she knows who her team is. She knows what to expect. She knows this is going to be a season where they are going to be competing. It's not going to be a rebuild season. And there was just a lot more like smiles all around. I even compared to last year's training camp, there was a little bit more of like, well, we shot the ball terrible from 3. We need to get better on defense. Like, we brought in 3-point shooters. We brought in different personalities that we think can be winners, but we're really not sure. Whereas this season, it's no, we're going back to the finals. Like, that is the stated goal. Evan, do you want, since you're here and you're the OG and my emotional support animal here, do you want to do a ad read, my friend?
Oh, I got you guys. I don't know about you guys, but I used to live in Phoenix, Arizona, and sports betting was legal when I lived there. And when I left and I came back to Minnesota recently, I find out I can't just go on a simple DraftKings app and do everything that I want to do. But that changed when I found Better, the best sports betting app out there, and we're partnered with them. And if you go on your app store and you download Better, search BETR in your search bar on your Android or iOS devices, you could download it and use our promo code, the Daily SPN, all one word. It's the Daily, letter S, letter P, letter N. It is shown on your screen right there, and we'll hook you guys up with a $77 deposit match, 100% deposit match, by the way, on your first deposit with Better.
In honor of Luka Doncic is all I can assume the 77 is for.
Exactly. Got to keep it. We got to keep the theme going, guys.
Right. I wanted to touch one other thing about just my takeaway, and then I'll throw it back over to you, Terry, for another one, was just the amount of players that unprompted brought up Courtney Williams and Natisha Heidemann. I mean, the leadership difference this season as opposed to last season at this time. Fee is a leader, but she is much more of a Tim Duncan-esque leader, in my opinion, where she'll get fiery when she absolutely needs to. But other than that, she's going to tell you what she has to, and she's going to just dominate. Courtney Williams and T being brought up by almost every bench player of someone that has helped them, someone that has taken them aside, that has been vocal with them. I mean, it's just such a change from last season, where last season, I think there was a big leadership hole. Terry, what are your thoughts just on Court and T both being back again and being that more vocal side of the Lynx?
Right. Well, I think it's huge that they're back again. I think last year they built that chemistry incredibly quickly. And I think that showed with, like, the Lynx didn't struggle out of the gate or anything like that. They were pretty good right away. And they were talking at the beginning of training camp, like, this isn't just, coach speak or your normal training camp sound bites. Like, when everyone's talking about chemistry, like, we've got something special here. But they also still had to build that. And Courtney and T were in their first seasons with the organization, their first seasons as being guards for Cheryl. So now that they're back and the entire starting lineup's back, I haven't run the total math on this, but I do think there are more returning minutes for the Minnesota Lynx than any other team in the league. And it's not particularly close. New York is like somewhat close, but they're losing Sloot, losing Betnaja, and Kayla Thornton is a bigger, group of contributing players than what the Lynx lost in Chechi and Maisha. So there's not going to be much of a learning curve. And the player who will play the most like a newcomer is very likely to be Carly Samuelson, who has played with a ton of these players already and knows everyone really well. So I think you just can see Court and T sort of stretch their legs a little bit more. Maybe if there is like some hesitation, I don't think there's much hesitation in, being true leaders last year, but you're still getting to know each other. You're asking a lot of questions. T made it known that she asks 1,000 questions about the way everyone plays, where they want the ball and everything like that. And, I think everyone kind of felt like there's a sense of unfinished business at the end of last season. And it's rare in any professional sport that you have this kind of roster continuity from year to year. So that's obviously big for Court and T, but it's big for everyone to kind of come into that role and also expand on it and not have to, be like, oh, where do you like the ball on this play? Like, they already know that stuff. So they can just move forward. And I don't know if Courtney Williams can be more vocal, but I think she is. Has a great podcast now, which she was sure to plug. And, it's the Courtney's Daddy and her podcast on YouTube. If we're going to plug our own podcast, we got to plug Courtney's, Andrew.
Yeah.
And
I feel like she'd get mad.
No free ads in the podcasting business, but we'll give Courtney all the free ads. But yeah, I think there's different, like you hit the nail on the head. There's different kinds of leadership on this team, people filling different kind of roles, and with so much returning talent and just such an established culture here anyway, like, yeah, I don't think it feels like day 3 in this training camp. I think it probably feels like day 30 with how much is already established and understood among everybody.
They seemed very ready to go. On Courtney, she ruined my 4-month-long running joke of asking her every press conference if I can call her a point guard yet. She was true to her word. She said I could call her a point guard next season. And when I asked, I can now call her a point guard. So I don't know what running joke I'm going to have this year, but I will figure one out.
Hashtag PG Court.
Hashtag PG Court. That was the
direct quote. Yeah, I don't think she said hashtag, but I'm adding the hashtag.
We're doing a hashtag.
Right. I don't know if that means you'll see anything different from her. She was pretty good in that lead guard spot.
She was a really good point guard.
But yeah, it means you have to come up with a new joke. But I have faith in you.
Yeah, I'll come up with a new joke, and it'll probably be hopefully better than the last one. I mean, Court, that's just one thing. I'm still shocked that she played 2 guard for quite literally her entire career. And then just all of a sudden, like 2 years ago with Chicago, they said, you're a point guard. And she just kind of was like, okay. And then it's not that you're a point guard. You come to Minnesota where Cheryl expects you to be quite literally the best point guard in the league running her system. And Courtney was just like, yeah, okay. And now this season, she's like, I now have a year under my belt. I will be the best point guard. So I think that'll be a fun development, is just how far Courtney can take that. We do have a question in the chat. I'll pose it to you, Terry, because your thought might be a little different than conventional wisdom, but Jessica Shepard will come off the bench this season, right? Question mark from Bella.
That is correct. The starting 5, it is a good question, but yeah, the starting 5 will be the same pending injury. That is Courtney Williams, Kayla McBride, Bridget Carlton, Nafisa Collier, and Alana Smith. I have a lot of confidence in Jessica Shepard, but for her to come off the bench, she also has to make the team. And after those 5, Natisha Heidemann and Carly Samuelson, I don't think anyone's roster spot is guaranteed. This is going to be a very, very competitive training camp. I have got, the roster I'm envisioning has shuffled a little bit, and Jess has looked great and added, some elements to her game, but she does a lot of things really well and is different than every kind of big that was already here. Brunson talked about that a lot today. But yeah, she can't just waltz in here and get that same roster spot she had in 2023. It's ruthless out here.
It's ruthless, is to say the least. I mean, they, like you said, there's those 7 gals, and then depending on if the Lynx go with 11 or 12, there's 4 or 5 more roster spots. They have Bordeaux, who's come over from France. They have Daniels. They have Diamond. They have Peely. They have Dorka, who hasn't reported.
Dorka's not here yet.
Yeah. They have Dorka, who's not here yet. And it was interesting listening to Cheryl. I mean, she has pretty in-depth ideas and game plans for, it sounded like just about everybody, but she can't keep everybody. So we really didn't get a great handle on who's going to make the team, other than the last 9 gals that were just here for training camp invites probably won't make it. But I mean, there is realistically 7 girls going for 5 spots. 2 people that we really like are going to get cut.
And there might only be 4 spots.
And there might only be 4 spots, depending on what they do with that last roster spot. So someone's going to get cut, and it's going to suck.
There's also money involved in this too, and it's hard to exactly know everyone's contract status. But they also can't just keep any 12 and be under the cap because of different veterans making different amounts of money. So that would, if they only keep 11, that's a reason why. And if they keep 12, but they cut, there's a surprising cut in there, like Jess or Diamond or Dorka or somebody, then I mean, it could be an on-court thing too, but it's more than likely heavily influenced by the financial side of things.
Evan, let's get another ad read if you'd be so kind.
Yeah, I got you for sure, guys. We're partnered with SeatGeek, the best ticket app out there. And if you need Lynx tickets coming up or Timberwolves tickets coming up for the playoffs, I know the Minnesota Wild are in town pretty soon here if the series comes back to St. Paul. Or maybe like Andrew over here, who's a big Taylor Swift fan.
Yes.
He likes to go to Taylor Swift when she's in town. SeatGeek's your number one ticket stop. And if you use our promo code The Daily Wolves on SeatGeek, we're hooking you guys up with $20 off your next purchase on SeatGeek. Now, I wanted to ask you, Terry, I guess, and Andrew, what do you, for fans out there watching, what's the biggest, I guess, difference you felt at Media Day today from compared to last year's Media Day?
I don't know that there's anything too noticeable. I think there's maybe some underlying satisfaction. And I think this team knew exactly how good they were going to be at this time last year. And Cheryl said a lot of, Fee's next step is to be the MVP. And she would have been an MVP in a lot of other WNBA seasons with that kind of performance last year. So it wasn't like a sense of I told you so kind of thing, but it was just like an air of confidence and expectation to be the best team in the league. And that's where they belong. And even in the year, there's only 1 year of non-playoff basketball where people like will reference like a few years ago or whatever, like going through a rebuild. There's only 1 year where they didn't play in the playoffs.
Insane.
And they don't like tanking's not really a thing that happens here. I know they started 0-6 in 2023, but since that 0-6 spell, the record has been pretty damn good. So I think, there's just a business-like approach to it. Ready, you could sense the happiness and the joy in being together again. That was kind of a thing last year after the Olympic break, where especially for Fee and Cheryl, it was like a sigh of relief. Oh, thank God we won gold. And Lan getting Australia back on the podium was a huge thing too. They were all so ready to be back together as a group again, and I think that was a very similar feeling to this. And so it's like first day of school thing, but now let's go Ace Finals.
Yep.
Kind of at the same time.
Lan spoke on it too, of even when she was playing in China, she was like apprehensive and ready to get back to Minnesota to get back with this group. I think I would second Terry's vibe. I think Cheryl and that staff breed like a certain sense of confidence. But like I remember last year at Media Day, I think it was Media Day or maybe it was the first or second game of the season. Cheryl was like, I mean, ESPN had us at the second worst team. Like, we don't think we're that. Like, they genuinely, I think, thought they would be good. Maybe not championship good, but that was kind of a sticking point all year.
Last year there was one particular ESPN power ranking that had them at 9th. I haven't really done a power rankings roundup. I think it's kind of funny that in all sports we're still doing power rankings. Like this method has just been proven to mean nothing over and over again. But we gotta do it, And hey, I had them at 4th in mine last year, so even I was wrong, but I was at least on the right side of things. But yeah, I don't know if there is that kind of bulletin board material out there for anyone to speak on. So
I think they were pretty locked in.
Or we're just,
To your point on the finals loss, I think they have enough probably material.
Right.
They seem pretty ticked about that. Terry, I'm going to put you on the spot here. So before the season starts, what do you think their record is going to end up being? Or if you don't want to give an exact record, what seed do you feel like they'll be in the playoffs?
I'm fine with giving an exact record. I'm going to I'll write this in pencil, but hard in pencil. And that's 34-10. I meant to look at the odds, the finals odds and the over-unders before this. I did not do that. But 34-10. You also got to remember the last 2 weeks in June, Eurobasket will be happening. And a lot of national teams will be playing pretty important basketball. And a lot of teams will lose more than one player. Some teams only one player. A handful of teams will lose two, maybe even three in some cases. The Lynx aren't going to be affected by that as much. Now, if Mariam Badian comes out and is a Rookie of the Year caliber player, which would be a fantastic story since she's 30 years old and has played in Europe her entire career, she'll be with the French national team. But you got to think, if you have Lan, Dorka, maybe, and Jessica Shepard, and then, of course, Fee plays in the post as well, they're conditioned to sustain that loss. The Liberty will lose, Leonie Fibish, Nayara Sabali, I think Marine Johannes most likely, and Seattle loses Gabby Williams for sure. I believe they have Dominique Malunga on their plans as well. Like that's just going to be an element to the season. It's not the same as the Olympics, but it's like, imagine if there just wasn't an Olympic break during the Olympics last year. There will be teams heavily affected by this, and I think the Lynx are set up to curve that part of the season pretty well. And I could just see a team, like the Liberty dropping games. I don't think the Aces will be too affected by it. So yeah, I'll say 34-10, and I'll go 1 seed. I'll take that smoke.
Okay.
I'll go 1 seed because I think, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if New York or Vegas. I think those are the two teams that I think I'm confident at saying, like, okay, they could finish ahead of Minnesota in the wins column.
The worst part about letting a guest go first is when they pick the exact same record that you were going to pick.
You were going to do 34-10.
Oh,
I was going to go 34-10.
Same
so I'm going to
podcast guest. We picked the same roster last week, Andrew. It's like
we even rapid fire picked the same roster.
Evan, you're the teacher, and you have to figure out who's copying off of who. It's not.
I'm going to change it. Boy. I will say 35-9.
Okay.
Math.
This is pandering to Cheryl, if that's what that is.
Yes, I am pandering to Cheryl. I'm new here. Not new. This is my second year. Yeah. I'm basically a veteran now.
There you go, changing it up.
You're right.
When I was looking at their schedule, I don't think the W has changed that much. Like, there's a lot of talk of like, oh, these teams have gotten so much better, but the teams that have gotten better, like, pilfered players from other teams. Like, it's not like there's just 9 more all-stars in the W.
No.
The other side of it too is Fee missed about 2.5 weeks last year before the Olympics with a plantar fasciitis injury. I mean, if Fee's healthy all season, they're gonna win more than 40 games. Like, she is literally 40. Oh, they're gonna win more than 30 games. I mean, she is literally. Sorry, I'm all over the place. There's so much time in front of a phone.
40,
but I just think
wouldn't be that insane. Would anyone be?
I mean,
that would be crazy.
That would be insane.
Say they don't. Say they get all the injury luck. Say that they're number one in the league in a lot of categories, including injury luck.
Mm-hmm.
If everything goes right, so let's say no one of note misses more than like a game at a time.
Now we're getting.
They could go like 38-6. Like, look at them after they came back from the Olympic stretch and they were healthy. I mean, they ran absolute ruckshot.
The math is not mathing like fast enough in my head, but Cheryl has had teams with higher than 80% winning percentage before. At 44 is like over 100%. I know that's not true. It's a joke. Bear with me. But the main reason, because there's a couple of questions with New York's gonna be very, very good again.
Yep.
And Vegas will be very, very good. But Jewel Lloyd coming in for Kelsey Plum, there's a lot new in Vegas. And I think Asia is still getting better, which is scary. But even with how well she played last year, every time they played the Lynx or they played 3 times total, and the Lynx went 2-1.
Mhm.
Those last 2 were pretty commanding victories. And Asia didn't suck in those games. It's not like they figured out the Asia thing. So it's just like they had the best player on the planet last year, and we're still the 3 seed. So even if Asia takes another leap, like Chelsea Gray is another year seasoned.
Older. We can say older.
I was going to try to say something kinder than older, but and it's just there's just some volatility in the desert that I'm not saying bet against the Aces, but I could very easily see the same 1-2-3 finish again, but with just the continuity of the Lynx and playing with that chip on their shoulder. I think like they're going to care about getting the 1 seed and also getting that home court too. Like that's going to be huge, especially in the best of 7 finals. There's so many games.
They did extend it. The other thing, and I'm just going to make this point and then we'll wrap up the pod, guys. But the other thing is Fee is a superstar that even her worst games are still an all-star level performance. Like Fee does not have bad games. She shoots 50-60% from the field almost every single game. She's going to go 20-10 almost every single game. She's going to have 3 or 4 stocks every single game. Like that consistency, if she's healthy the entire season, is going to just pile wins up, because there are some players that just, Tuesday night game, middle of the season, their hamstrings hurting a little bit. Maybe they don't go as hard. Fee just doesn't have that in her. Like I have never seen her take a game off. In every game I watched last season, she never took a game off. She got hurt last year, and that's really the only stretch of basketball the Lynx didn't look like they were the best team in the W. And then she darn near won the ring. I mean, they were a illegal touching foul. What did they call it? What's the official word? Official ruling they said? Illegal guarding position.
Illegal guarding position. Which
they were an illegal guarding position away from winning it in regulation.
Still haven't gotten an actual definition on that. And I'll even say that to protect this bullishness on the record is in the 5 games Fee missed, they went 3-2. So, there's a chance, like if she might miss a game here and miss a game there. And there's also, if there's extended time, like there's a good chunk of the league where I'm still picking the Lynx without Fee in those games. Like maybe, hopefully that just happens when, I don't know, do they play Connecticut and Golden State in the same week? Probably not. But given the geography of those markets. But yeah, I think they didn't look great comparison to how they looked before that. And one of those games was the game at home against Indiana with everyone watching, where they gave up a lead in the 4th quarter. And Fee wasn't in that game. The other 2 games against Indiana with Fee were, pretty much over by the late 4th quarter. But of course, let's not talk about that part, everybody.
No, that doesn't fit the narrative.
You can't lose Fee for an extended period of time, but they actually weathered that storm pretty well last year. And then there was that one game at Dallas after they won the Commissioner's Cup where everyone might have been a little hungover. Let's be real. And
there was a lot of champagne.
They bounced back. They bounced back. Yeah. WNBA, make it so I haven't looked at this, but there should be no camp day games after the Commissioner's Cup final. Let's avoid that again. As funny as the stories were, and as funny as it's like a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where it's like, hey, you just won the in-season championship. You won.
Go play Dallas.
$100,000 and champagne. Now you have to go to Dallas and play at 11 a.m. with 6,000 children screaming the entire time while you're still trying to collect yourself. That's the next step as a league the W needs to take. No camp day game. I love the camp day games. I love it, something that the league does. I would even be opposed to more camp day games, but let's not have them immediately following the Commissioner's Cup final. Let's make sure that no team will have to deal with that if they make it to the final this year.
Well, on that note, no hangovers and 20,000, 2,000, however many thousand camp girls were screaming at the Wolf or at the Lynx. Let's not have that happen. And for everyone that tuned in, appreciate you guys checking out a Lynx preseason media day recap. We'll be doing more of these as the season goes on, post-game shows, and having some special guests on. But Terry, I appreciate you. Evan, appreciate the platform as always, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Evan.
See you next time, guys.